Welcome and happy Saturday. My phone is dark. I'm not sure what's going on, as per usual. Let's see if anybody's out there in the land of YouTube right now. You guys may have better things to do on a Saturday night, perhaps. Some people have a life, right? For me, that's about the change. I made a pretty strict promise on myself. So, just to get personal for a second while no one's here. Due to not COVID itself, but due to the restrictions that we had going on with COVID, even when there was someone even living here with me, I wasn't going out on dates. Hello, Terrell. So no dates for, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. That's going to be a little bit too long of a wait for me. So I'm just yapping while people are getting a chance to come on. So yeah, no dating, no anything, right? Last couple years, no anything. COVID restrictions was part of it. Hello, James. How you doing this Saturday night? I remember doing your tarot a couple of days ago. That was fun. I appeared on Facebook and did a live for the first time in, I guess, a year maybe. So I'm coming to you on this Saturday night, not to complain about my dating life, but to say, I know that I'm not the only one that's doing this, that's hiding out, that's not dating, that's not experiencing a whole lot of things in life right now. I know that the majority of us have been in a huge hermit mode for a really long time. And so I asked, because I've been feeling called for the last 2 days to make a live video, but I'm still kind of processing the things from my last video about the simulation being source and all of that. That's really blowing my mind. And so I've been doing tarot readings for other people and looking at numerology. And other than that, I have not been doing any kind of socializing at all, which is crazy. It's crazy, right? That has to change. And it needs to change right now. This is ridiculous. So I pulled just a couple of tarot cards briefly before I came on here to kind of check in and see if there was a message that Spirit wanted me to know and all of us to know. I'm pretty secluded and I'm pretty hermit-like all the time. But about 5 days ago, I started hearing what I would say is the most intense solar storm that I've ever heard. And so, backstory briefly, I used to feel these things when they got to Earth, like the rest of Earthlings. And then I started feeling them 48 hours before they came to Earth. And then about maybe 2 years ago, I started experiencing these things as they left the sun. I wouldn't be north side without a Harley Davidson, I swear, or an ambulance. So pretty recently, I started experiencing these things. I started hearing them when they left the sun. But this week has been a lot different. So I can only describe to you what I've been hearing for the past 5 or 6 days on the sun is like what your stomach would be like if you hadn't eaten for 2 days. Like I've just been hearing this rumbling noise and this pressure noise. And I've also noticed that there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. There's a lot more going on than meets the scientific instruments that they have, okay? And also, there's a lot going on that no, I don't have anybody intentionally blocked. Tara, I have to do it on my phone because there's something going on with my energy field that I just blank the computer out and it blurs out my face and it blurs out my words. So now I'm back on the phone, which does it again. No one is blocked but my phone, and my YouTube always goes back to private because I don't have 1,000 subscriptions. So that's what's going on, Terrell, and I apologize. And the comments never stay up is one of the reasons I don't interact. And the other reason is because whatever I'm bringing to you, there is nothing planned. It's just completely coming out when I look at myself, when I speak to myself. Because for me, you know, I don't see you, there's no audience. So this is me speaking to myself. So what's been going on in the sun has been an extreme amount of rumbling, and it's not like anything I've ever heard. The other thing is, I know when you feel this, you get closer and closer to feeling it before it happens. So that 48-hour window will dissipate for you until it keeps getting closer and closer and closer. And I apologize for all my tech problems. Part of it is I don't have the equipment to do anything beyond what I'm doing right now. And the other part of it is my energy is very, very charged up. That tends to blur everything out, not just my cell phone, my blender, the washer and dryer, all of it. So welcome to living in space with me. I bleep out electronics. That's how it is. If I walk under street lights, they go out as well. But anyway, to get back on track here. So the energy is not going to be measured by any scientific piece of equipment that is going to justify your current experience. And there's a couple reasons why that is the case. One of them is their instruments are only made to pick up a fluctuation for the last 100 years or however long they've been using that said instrument. So that's part of it. The other part of it is there's a lot of things that they are measuring that they're not talking about. They're not sharing in a public way whatsoever. So I started noticing about 6 days ago that there was a whole lot of what I can only describe as plasma energy. Now I'm seeing it not in the fact that I'm seeing it in a 3D way, but I'm seeing it and I'm seeing how it interacts with the human body. So when the rays of the sun hit the human body, we can feel it, we experience the heat, whatever. We know that's coming from the sun. But what I very, very clearly have been seeing for the last 5 or 6 days, it almost looks like blobs of plasma that are in our atmosphere, okay? And I know that people are feeling them. I'm sure most of you are not seeing them. I was seeing it in a vision, not in a 3D way. So there's some blobs. It sounds so unscientific and so uneducated. But there are these big blobs of plasma, okay? So they're in the field in front of the human body. And when they are, the human body starts to get really wonky depending on what the particulate makeup of said plasma is. So what I've noticed is people getting really fiery, but not necessarily using that in a way. So when we have fire energy, or creative, passionate energy, or sensual, exotic energy, and we don't use that and direct that towards creativity or sensuality, it brings up the other things that also come along with that spectrum within the cells of our body. Heat, anger, resentment, whatever. That's why it's really important to channel your creative energy and do something with your creative energy. I know that there are a lot of, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I know there's a lot of people out there that are celibate, that have been celibate for a really, really long time. So we want to make sure, especially when we are celibate, that we are channeling this creative energy that comes from this sacral chakra, which is also connected to our passion and our love of life and people, and things, whether that's painting or sensual conversation, erotica, whatever that is. If we don't channel that, it comes out as anger and resentment and a bunch of other things. So there's a lot going on with plasma. I don't know I have heard these different, it almost sounds to me like there's underground volcanic activity, and I expect that will probably be next, 1118. But right now it's like the ring of fire on the planet, but it's the ring of fire, and it's like in the center part of the sun, center lower part of the sun, there's just this huge bubbling. So I don't know what's going on in the last 6 days, if that has actually left the sun already, or if it's on its way to us very shortly. I'm not going to hog up anybody else's Saturday night, because I'm sure, unlike me, you may have plans, you may be doing something. I don't know. But I asked Spirit, and I got out the cards, and I don't do tarot on this channel very much for a lot of reasons, but I got out the cards tonight and I asked what Spirit wanted me to share that was beneficial to the group of us that are always here watching on this channel. So the first card that comes out here is the Knight of Wands, which is really interesting because I was just talking about the sacral chakra being connected to your mission, to your passion, to your erotic side, all of that. It's all one side. And people, maybe people don't know that, or they don't realize how one thing affects the other, right? If you have a very powerful, very erotic, very potent interpersonal relationship with another person, that is such a drive to your mission and everything in life that changes your capability of money and everything. And I'm just saying those are very, very tied together, and that's coming up a lot in the last 3 months. So the first card that I pulled is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, as I'm talking about passion, has a stick in his hand. Take that as you would like it. I'm not trying to be pervert or anything, but that's the case of it. That's a lot of what this card talks about, is unbridled passion, right? You can see that he's like up in the air on he's charging in, okay? This knight can charge in and charge out equally as fast as well. There we go. God, that's bright. So the Knight of Wands is spontaneous creation, okay? It's taking a risk. It's inviting and following the inspiration in your life that's directly connected to your sacral chakra. It's about following your dreams and impulsiveness. And though we don't want to live by the seat of our pants and have this impulsive drive 24/7 and have it be the ruler of our entire life, it's something we absolutely should never ever be without. So impulsivity, taking a risk. Are you taking a risk? Are you telling people how you feel? Are you going after things you want? Just putting yourself out there and being fiery. I don't know why I almost said dangerous. But are you being fiery? Are you taking risks? Are you inviting and flowing with your inspiration? Hello, Christine. I start to see your names and then it disappears again. And I hate for the people watching after to keep talking about my technical difficulties while I'm doing this. So, where do you stand on that? Where do you stand on your impulsivity? Where do you stand on your passionate drive? Are you doing what you want? Are you doing who you want? Are you going in the direction that you want? And I'm not trying to come on here and be a pervert, okay? But this energy is really, really strong. And it's been going on for quite a while. So don't ignore that side of yourself, even if you are celibate. Don't ignore that side of yourself because it will come out in heat and anger and other ways. The next card we have is the Knight of Swords. And again, we're talking about impulsivity. So this card talks about impulsivity of the heart and of the sacral chakra. And this card talks about impulsivity. This is, he has his sword in the air, right? Because he knows what doesn't need to be in his life. He needs to take the sword and cut it out. But this is also the Knight, so that means someone rushing into your life, someone taking a chance on you, telling you how they really feel. Same exact thing for this card. This person's just ruled by their heart and by their sacral chakra, and this guy is actually logically thought it out. And when the Knight of Swords shows up, not only can you expect this person to come into you to articulate whatever it is that he has been jousting around in his mind for quite a while, he also knows exactly what he wants to say. Okay, so if this is a job offer, this is not someone calling you and saying, do you have an updated resume? This is someone calling you and saying, let's get you in here for an interview, okay? If this is someone from your past or someone you just met that's interested in you, this is someone coming to you with a very specific message, not, hey, how's it going? Not, hey, baby, it's been a long time, whatever. This person has something very specific they want to tell you. And I love this about tarot. So when I'm looking at this, right, the way they are on the table, this Knight of Wands is looking directly at the situation on the table, like what's in front of him. What does he really, really want? But the Knight of Swords, the one that's rushing in with a specific message, is not looking at the table or looking at me. He is looking at the other horse. What is this other horse going to do with his passion, with his desire, with his whatever? Because I'm here with my brain to back him up should he happen to fail through on the sacral chakra part. Okay, interesting. Now, I was only going to pull 3 cards, and I find it very astounding, guys, that all 3 cards that I've pulled are all on horses. Okay, so we're talking travel, and that could be journey in the mind, or someone physically traveling to you, or you physically traveling to someone. Travel, are you going somewhere? Is someone coming to you? Travel, are you going somewhere, or is someone coming to you? I just absolutely can't believe I got 3 men on a horse galloping in, right? And the interesting thing is, so the one that's thinking about exactly what he wants to say is looking at the one that is solely following his sacral chakra, and the Death card is going in the opposite direction. So he's looking away from the situation altogether. There's the third person on the horse. So maybe some of you are really smoking hot and you've got 3 people coming in on a horse. I don't know what else to say. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding about that. Maybe you are hot. Maybe you do have 3 people. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, the Death card talks about death and rebirth. So we can't have a rebirth in our life, right? I can't expect to ever go on a date if I'm not leaving my house to do anything but walk 12 miles a day and go to the grocery store. I can't sit around and complain about not having been on a date for 5 years, right? If I'm not leaving the house. So death and rebirth. We've been hermiting for the last 2 or 3 years, some of us for 5 years. it's time to put the things to rest that need to be laid to rest, because you can't start a new job until you end the old job, okay? You can't start a new relationship till you end the old relationship. You can't start a new health routine until you kiss your bad habits goodbye. So whatever this message is for you, we have a whole lot of traveling going on here. We have a whole lot of some masculine energy that really, really wants to speak his piece. And when it comes to the combined energy of the sacral chakra working with the brain to say, this is, I want to travel to you. I want you to travel to me. I want to speak to you. This is important to me. I feel this in my heart for you. I've thought about this a lot, right? So these two cards go back and forth between the heart and the mind. But this guy on the horse is not in the heart or in the mind. He's like cut through all the bullshit, right? And he's saying, when you want to start something new, you have to end it. He's looking away from the heart. He's looking away from the brain, and he's only looking for things in his life. Okay. And also, there may be a portion of you that someone walked away from you, and it hurt you, and you didn't want to put yourself back out there. The death may have not come. It may have come as a surprise. It may have come as a shock. Maybe you didn't feel it in your heart, because I'm looking at the Page of Wands. Maybe in your brain you didn't think it was coming. In your heart you didn't feel it was coming. But all of a sudden you found yourself in the middle of a separation or a divorce or a breakup or whatever it is. But the death card, in the death card, there are just things laying all over, like the stuff from people's houses, right? There's clothes and dolls and statues and food. There's literally everything. So whatever it is, you know that you're being asked to leave something behind, or someone did it for you, right? Someone exited stage left for you, and you didn't have to do it. And maybe you're still sitting in that energy, and maybe you're not wanting to date or something, but we can't stay in this energy, or we're advised not to stay in this energy. Now, when I ask Spirit to assist me in something, right? I'm more integrated than not. So now, to me, it never feels like a separation. But when it comes to doing tarot readings for people, or when it comes to like going to Spirit, and I don't always do it with tarot, a lot of times I don't. But when I go to Spirit, I ask, what is it that our entire wave needs to know? And our entire wave needs to know. There's a lot of mental energy. There's a lot of sexual energy. There's a lot of heart space energy. There's a lot of sacral chakra energy. So don't stay stuck in something that's dead and gone. Just don't stay stuck in something that's dead and gone. Spirit is the go-between between the physical body and higher self. So sometimes I have to step outside of myself, because one, I'm totally removed from the news cycle, okay, a regular news cycle. That's been a really long time. Two, I'm removed myself from the alternative news cycle completely. After the 2020 election, I was done. Cue white hats. I'm done with it, okay? I would rather feel what I feel is going to happen than look at anything outside of me. But that's also made me extremely recluse, and I know that's made a lot of you extremely recluse as well. So perhaps just a message that if someone left your life very abruptly and unexpectedly, or maybe you're packing to leave right now, I don't know. We're all in different places, but there's a lot of, I hate to use the word disintegration, but I don't know what other word to use, a graceful falling apart. But for some people, it's not even graceful, okay? But the death energy is saying to you, I know it's saying to me, get out there, meet people, talk to people, go on dates, do something. Just sitting around the house, and being introspective and being in the hermit mode and talking to higher self and talking to trees, and it goes on and on and on, and birds and but I'm not interacting with other people. There's a couple of you guys that I interact with, but that's it. I'm not really doing anything. And so my way that I started expanding into this in the last couple of days was, I did a reading for a lady, lovely lady, a couple weeks ago, that is planning, her and her boyfriend, to move to Puerto Vallarta. I'm probably not saying that right, but oh my God, does that sound very Spanishly romantic. So anyway, I decided to look up Puerto Vallarta. Oh my God. I don't know how much longer I can live in the United States knowing what some of these oceanside places look like. So I looked up Puerto Vallarta, and I'm just getting myself in the energy of, where do I want to go, you guys? I am so excited to be wrapping up this healing process completely. So there's so many things I want to jump into. I am an explorer. Scorpio is such an explorer. I know you guys are explorers. I want to get out there. I want to see all these beautiful places. I want to swim in every body of water. I want to climb the mountains and the cliffs and swim in the lakes and hug the trees and climb up and get coconuts, whatever's outside in these beautiful places. That's what I want to do. And after, of course, you know how YouTube algorithm works. So after I watched the short video on Puerto Vallarta, this video came up, and it was the 10 cheapest places to live in Mexico. Oh my God, Mexico. And I've been to Mexico. I lived in Tijuana for 7 or 8 weeks, but Mexico is beautiful. And the list started out with the cheapest place. There are places in Mexico that you can live for $200 and $300 a month, including your utilities and your Wi-Fi, you guys. Oh my God, what am I doing in Ohio? Seriously. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. So we get out of this hermit mode, we get out of this doldrum, no dating, no being celibate, all this stuff. And I'm not saying all of you that watch this channel are celibate, but I talk to many of you. Sorry. And I know many of you are celibate because you're waiting for what I'm waiting for. Okay. But I'm going to start dating. I'm going to start dressing up, going out. I'm just not doing it. Dating myself. This is the amount of hermit mode time is just crazy. And then the last thing Spirit brought to my attention was, which is really interesting, because we got 3 men on a horse traveling in, right? And then we have a man who is pushing the boat with the 6 of Swords to take this woman and child to their safety. So Swords is all about what's going on in your mind. Okay, so Swords represent the mind. 6 of Swords is, we're trying to get balance. We've been in a challenging place maybe for a really long time, whether we're in a challenging place in our marriage, in our relationship, in our family dynamic, in our single household, whatever. We're being asked to look at that and travel to a place that's less choppy, and a place that's less lonely, and a place that's less isolated. Okay. And I know there are just so many people out there isolating. I know I know that I'm not the only one doing this, for sure. I've been taking a couple of cards a day. I have 4 tarot books, and really going extensively and looking things up in other directions that I haven't before. And I realized something about this card after getting it in so many readings for the last 6 months that I thought was very interesting. And I never meant to be inclusive or exclusive when I say things like this. But the majority of the wave, the first wave of ascension, there are exceptions. There are a couple people in their 40s. I've talked to people in their 70s. But the majority of us are between 50 and 65, okay? And it maybe that doesn't seem like a big deal to you if you're 40 and you're watching this. But just know, by the time you're between 50 and 65, right, you can become really set in your ways. Everything, how you grocery shop, how you do laundry, you know, whether you talk to people on the street or not, how you run your everyday life. And so the Six of Swords talks about being in turbulent waters and going where you're cherished, being in turbulent waters and going where you're loved, and being in turbulent water and moving away from that. And so that when you're in a turbulent situation in your household, you get agitated on a cellular level, okay? And people have arguments. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you are not comfortable, okay, in your own environment. That's a real problem because it puts the cells in your body on high alert. And after being on high alert for a while, you can't relax, okay? Then it takes alcohol or drugs or CBD oil or something to take the edge off of your cells always being in that place where I expect an argument, or I expect the silent treatment, or I expect to sleep on the couch, or whatever it is. Okay, I had no idea I was going to talk about this. It's very strange. But anyway, and I always there's not that many people watching, but I always tap into people watching. And just people on YouTube in general, I notice as well. But anyway, the really significant thing about the Six of Swords is it says, go somewhere calm in your mind, okay? So that your cells can relax. You cannot keep your body, your cells on high alert all the time. If you're in this kind of dynamic where you're always trying to make the peace so that someone doesn't startle you or doesn't affect you on a cellular level, it's really time for you to think about why you're there. Are you money? Are you there for the money? Are you there because you don't want to lose your house? Are you there for the kids? I mean, just Spirit is asking you to think about why you're there. Now, the reason why I mentioned that the first wave is between 50 and 65 is because this card specifically not only talks about moving away and going somewhere where your mind can relax and the cells of your body can get a chance to heal and get caught up in this healing energy from this dynamic that has caused you cellular damage. I don't know any other way to say it. But the significance to me of this card is that it talks about being halfway through your life and needing to make major changes. Okay, so not a card that will often come up for someone in their 20s or 30s getting a tarot reading. This card is specifically about being age-wise, well, we say age-wise, 50 to 65, not what they say, but regardless, this is my intuition. So we're halfway through life, okay, in my opinion, 50 to 65, we're halfway through life, and we're just being asked to reevaluate our calm and reevaluate our sanctuary and what it means for us to have a sanctuary, because in a 3D realm, it means having a roof over your head and not being homeless, not sleeping in your car. But above and beyond that, you have to be able to, no matter what your living situation is, you have got to be able to relax at a cellular level in your own home. And if you can't, you really need to think about why you're staying. And again, to me, this is so significant because so many people watching my videos are between 50 and 65. And this specifically says you're at a midway point in life. You really need to evaluate, where is your calm? Where's your serenity? Where's your peace of mind? Because so many of us are in choppy water. And this is not a blame thing. I mean, some people, okay, so during this ascension process, you may have had family members, boyfriends, whatever, 5 years ago that you got along with so well, you thought, I'm going to marry this person and stay with them for the rest of my life. Okay. But I don't want to call it a split, but I don't have a better word. So we either signed up for the ascension process, all of us at different stages, or we didn't. But if you are living with someone, family, wife, whatever it is, and they did not sign up for this, you can't be yourself. You can't relax at a cellular level without drugs or alcohol or something. Not everybody's habits are bad. You could be, running 30 miles a week or doing other things, but there's something within your body that's asking you to please, please, please stop doing this to me. Please be serene and let peace overtake the cells of the body and stop doing this to us anymore, right? That parent within you, that higher self within you is saying, stop doing this. I mean, especially if you're doing it for a reason, if you're doing it solely for a 3D reason, let me put it that way, okay? Such as you just don't want to lose your house, right? Or maybe you're the kind of person that just doesn't want to be alone. I've met many, many people like that in my lifetime. They just go from one boyfriend to the next, to the next, the next. I mean, I've met a few people, not many, that have been married 3, 4, 5, 7 times. They just don't ever want to be alone. So Spirit is just asking you, get in touch with that connection with your higher self. Why are you staying in this situation that doesn't serve you? And what is it that you're afraid of? Because is it that you're afraid of that if you leave a bad situation, that there's not ever a situation that will be a good situation? I don't know. Is it possible that someone could have experienced so much trauma and so much damage in relationships that they actually feel like there's nothing better than what they have? Trust me, I'm not speaking anything I haven't been through. I won't go through my negative list of things, you guys. But after what I went through, I prior to the last year, just decided I was going to stay permanently alone. I wasn't going to deal with the non-acceptance. I wasn't going to deal with abuse. I wasn't going to deal with people being dishonest or whatever it is. So Spirit is just asking you to ask yourself, what is the reason that you're staying in anything that's fulfilling? And it's not just a relationship. I had no intention of going off on a relationship tangent, but that just came up. Okay, so that could even be a geographical location. It could be something that you're doing for work that involves a bunch of thought. But there's a lot of thoughts that you're having that are around mental conflict, physical conflict, arguments. How do I protect myself? Or how do I protect other people? Or how do I protect my children? Sorry, I didn't mean this to be negative. It's just what I'm hearing right now. So ask yourself, why are you staying in that? There's so many people that would help you if you ever wanted to leave a situation like that. And it's no way to live your life, you guys. This is the most, and I know there's so many crazy, incredibly preposterous, in your face, negative things going on in 3D reality, but the energy is so magical. I mean, even if it's just your kids or your relatives, be around people that can understand the magic. And that's, the gist of this is getting out of choppy waters and sailing into, or pedaling or swimming or boating your way into somewhere where your heart feels safe. Okay. It's really important at the very later stage that we're in right now to feel safe in our environment. And that's not just safe in my car or safe in my apartment or safe walking down the street. It's important for me to feel safe with people in my house. So I don't entertain very often, as I'm sure you've guessed by the first 30 minutes of this video. But anyway, a lot of action, a lot of inspiration. At the bottom of the deck was the Ace of Wands that talks about taking a passionate new beginning, which really that's what this whole thing is about, okay? So we have the Knight of Wands on a horse. We have the Knight of Swords on a horse. We have the death and rebirth. You have to let things die in order to have rebirth in your life on a horse. And the only card that's not a horse is a boat. It's time for us to take action. It's time for us to make motion, whether that's by car, by plane, by bus, by boat, by horse, which is apparently the preferred method in tarot because we don't have the chariot here. But everything in front of me says vehicle, okay? Be where you are just easy and open with yourself. From all the way from your thoughts, your brain, being able to articulate with that other person, with your people, with your family, to feeling safe in your heart, safe in opening up your sacral chakra to someone, safe in being in the water, in the environment with someone. And Spirit is saying to you and to me too, if you're not having safety in all those areas, you need to ask yourself why. Because you can only keep your body on a cellular level in this kind of up and down, this manic, this panic, this roller coaster, this for so long, okay? And then it starts affecting your health. And there's a couple people watching right now. This is really strange, but there's a couple people watching right now that your situation that I just described is so extreme, it's already affecting your health. So if you're having any kind of health issues at all, okay, I'm really talking to you. When you ignore your cells not being calm, relaxed, and serene, for a certain amount of time, we're used to that flight or fight thing, right? That's for danger. That's for when your ego says, Tina, there's a car coming, or hey, that person's running a red light or whatever. It's there for a necessary reason. But we can't stay on high alert all the time, guys. There are several of you watching this that are having health issues right now because you're in a situation where at a cellular level, you are on high alert. Do something about that, okay? If you need help with anything, reach out to me. I am not in a place financially to donate to you, but I will help you in any way possible. And once again, I made an incredibly long video and I so didn't mean to. Wow, this was only 4 tarot cards. I love you. Thank you for spending a portion of your Saturday night with me. And don't take it too seriously. I wasn't meaning, I kind of came out sounding really harsh and I didn't mean it to. It just happened automatically. There's a few people watching that are really in this place of picking their head up and sailing away. If you need anything and you are one of those people, please reach out to me. And I'm sorry for not talking back to you. The comments are back now and they're going to be deleted. And I love you, okay? Sail away, sail away, sail away. If you need to sail away, just do it. I love you. Bye.